Hope now you're able to see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Kash.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine. So
Yes,
now
sir.
if you see here, this is what our SDLC. So now all these days we have been talked about the SDLC, and from the SDLC we have been derived our STLC. Okay, so this is how this particular testing lifecycle was born. And then these are the different phases. The same way how we have been discussed in the different phases of this particular SDLC, we do have these particular phases for our STLC. So this may change, means change from organization to organization, but this would be one of the standardized procedure which we need to follow for our STLC. Okay, now here also the same topic, which is the requirement analysis. So now if you see here, in this particular SDLC, the phase number 1, we would be having the requirement gathering. So that particular requirement gathering was not here because already in the as part of the SDLC we have been taken care. Now requirement analysis. Now why we need to have the requirement analysis here? Also we have the analysis, right? So it's specifically talking from the testing point of view. Now here we will be analyzing from the different point of views, means either it is from the development point of view or infrastructure point of view or tools and technologies point of view. We will be validating from the different point of views or different angles for this particular analysis. But now this particular requirement analysis specifically talks from the point of testing. Hey, what are the different type of testings I need to perform? So now what are the different methodologies I need to follow for this one? What are the different procedures I need to follow for this one? What are the frameworks which I need to follow for this one? What are the different testing tools I need to follow for this one? So all these particular parts will be part of the analysis. So now analysis, now when you wanted to do this particular analysis, so now who are the team members would be part of this particular requirement analysis. So now if you see here in these particular phases, let me draw these particular things. So the different here I'll be talking from the point of the roles and responsibilities, and the same thing we'll be talking about the outcomes, right? So the same thing how we have been discussed in the SDLC, I just wanted to make to discuss about this one. Now, here, who are the people will be going to join for this one is, so here we will be having the QA manager, and you would be having the test leads, and you would be having the architects. So these are the set of people would be participating in this particular phase. In this particular phase, so they will be discussing about all these particular factors. I told you, right? So they will be talking about what are the different type of testings we need to perform, and what are the different methodologies, different processes, and different life cycles, and then different automation frameworks, different tools, and what would be the costing for this one, whether we have that particular skill set or whether we need to hire that particular people. So these all things will be doing as part of this particular requirement analysis. Now, the outcome for this one, what would be the outcome? What would be the outcome? When we did it in the same SDLC, what we got the outcome. So here also we'll be getting the specific outcome of that. What would be the outcome from the requirement analysis phase?
Test plan.
Documentation.
List of requirements.
Preparing test plans and case test case.
And all the duties of everyone.
See,
Who is
from
responsible
the
for this?
requirement gathering, we will be getting the functional spec or BRS, CRS, or whatever the requirements. Now, this is in the analysis phase. What we will be getting from the analysis phase? Do we get the functional spec from this particular analysis phase? Without getting this particular functional spec or the requirements, will you do the analysis? We are doing the second part of this. So now before this one itself, we have done the requirement gathering. In requirement gathering, we will get all the requirement functional specs, CRS, BRS, whatever you call that. But this is analysis. From the analysis, what we will be getting it? What is the outcome of this?
We will get the plan.
Product structure we can.
Sir, input for next phasings.
Structure.
What is the input? What is the input?
Sir,
Test plan.
sir, like
see, the test plan is the next phase. This is wrong answer.
It's like test cases and yes.
So here, based upon the analysis, we will be getting the feasibility report. Even this is what we have been discussed in our SDLC, right? Whether this project can be achievable or
Yes,
not,
yeah.
whether we can do the automation or not, whether the application is good candidate for the automation or not, whether all the objects are identified from this particular thing or not. So these all things is what the feasibility report we will be getting it. Means, hey, these are the different type of testings we can perform, and these things are we can't perform this one. So how you will see now? This is what that is what the feasibility, right? Feasibility means what? Can this be possible or not? Whether it is feasible or not. That is what the feasibility, right? Now that is what the feasibility report. Now you take it whether these particular type of testings can be performed or not, whether these particular methodologies can be implemented or not, whether these particular process can be implemented or not, whether these particular frameworks can be implemented or not, which tools can be implemented. So which tools are there? So whether we can use a Selenium, Playwright, Puppet, or WDIO. So which tool I can use for this one? What would be the costing? So within this particular budget and cost can be done this particular project. So that is what we do the requirement analysis, right?
Yes, sir.
See here in the SDLC, we have been discussed thoroughly from the different angle. So now here purely from the testing point of view, we analyze and generate this particular feasibility report. So now once this particular feasibility report and everything is done, and we have been decided that yes, we can go ahead, then we will be coming for the planning. So now, for an example, I planned for Goa. So with my bunch of friends, I just wanted to go for whatever the place. So just a random vacation place. I just wanted to select as said Goa or whatever the place we wanted to do it. Now, as soon as I confirmed that, so now I do have 4 buddies. So all we 4 decided to go. Now, what I need to do it? We will be checking the budget. Okay, hey, my budget approximately it is a 5-day trip. The tenure is okay, and then the budget for this one approximately 75K to 1 lakh. That would be the things, and then the budget and the tenure, the cost, and then feasibility we have been checked. So from all the places, because these people are from different places from Bangalore, Chennai, Gurgaon, and then Hyderabad. So now I have these particular 4 people. Yeah, we have the flights, so we check the feasibilities. Next, what we do immediately, we try to book the flights. We try to book the hotels. We try to book cabs. And while we're booking, yeah, you'll see that nearby all the casinos and everything, we will be checking that particular casino entry fees and then nearby these hotels and all. And we will be booking near the beachside resorts. Now you see it, right? What I'm trying to do. So now once after I have been made that particular feasibility, I fixed my feasibility. And then immediately what I need to do it, I need to plan, right? Do you think that without planning I can jump on? Yeah, I can do that. But what it might be happening if it is a very rush. So during the time of December, so it would be very rush. I'll not get the hotel rooms. I'll not get the flight. So even though if it is a flight with for 4K to 5K one way, now I need to buy it for 16K or 20K because it is very high. So if I have been planned it thoroughly, then it made me to do it in a successful pattern. Example, if I don't book the hotel, at that point of time, I need to get down in the airport. I need to go and then search for a cab. And then which hotel I need to go? I don't know. Which place I need to go? I don't know because I don't have my plan. But if I made my particular plan, hey, I will be boarding at 4:30 in the evening. So from the 4:30 evening, I'll already booked my cab. So the driver will be pick me up from the airport, and from the Panjim, he'll be taking me for Kalingat, which is in the North Goa. So I'll be going for the store there. So I booked Novotel there, and from there from I'll be going it for Rabaga, so where I have my casino. So then I'll spend my time there and then I'll come back. So this is my first day trip. So second day trip. So if I have been organized and planned according to that one, I booked all the things and I made it everything ready and then I'll be using it. But you just think that the same story in the different angle. I don't means on the spot I book my flight tickets. On the spot, I just get down in the means airport, and I was looking for the cab to book, and then somehow I managed to get that particular cab. Now, where I need to go, which hotel I need to go, whether I need to go for South Goa or North Goa, or I need to stay in the Panjim, I don't know. Which hotel I need to stay, I don't know. So what would be the cost? I don't know. Whether the rating of the hotel, I don't know. So whether I'll be getting a good room, I don't know. And if you see here, there are lot of unknowns if you don't plan that one thoroughly. Right? The similar pattern when you're doing this particular testing, you should make this particular things planned. Hey, what are the different type of testing which I need to perform? Okay, I will be doing the functional testing, regression testing, and smoke testing, and compatibility testing, performance testing, security testing. Oh, I'll be doing these all. And how I need to do this one? So functional testing, first I'll be starting it on the first day, and I'll be performing all the functionalities, and I'll write my test cases, and then I'll give it to the regression. And then I'll be completing this regression and then smoke. Then I'll be doing my compatibility testing. Don't worry, what is this compatibility, performance, and these things? Anyways, we'll discuss later. But what you need to understand is any particular project, if you have the particular planning, so this can be executed thoroughly, and it can be executed effectively and efficiently, and you'll get the right output. If you don't have that particular planning, you can't execute the project with an efficient and effective way. So now here you see it, right? Somehow I managed to stay in Goa, but the way if I planned it, if I don't plan it, so you can see that particular differences between that. That is what the difference if you made a plan or if you're not making a plan. Right? So what would be the outcome of this particular thing? Who are the people involved into this one? Same manager, test leads, and architects. They'll be preparing this particular test plan, and then they'll be going it. There is a huge difference between a test strategy versus test plan. We'll discuss this particular document when we go for the plan document. We'll discuss about this one. But test plan document will be creating it, and then we are be giving as an outcome for this particular phase. So which is test plan document. So this is the outcome of this particular phase we'll be doing on it. Okay, so now we have been covered the requirement analysis. So once we've done the requirement analysis, and then we do the feasibility study, and based upon this one, we'll get the confirmation that we wanted to go yes. And then we'll be planning for this one. And then for this particular planning, so we have been made that particular plan, and then we have been derived what are the different type of testings, what are the different type of implementations or procedures, life cycles, which we wanted to test it. So in the test plan document, you'll be getting a very detailed level of information in that one. So what are our assumptions? What are our constraints? What are our test data? What is our date of completion, test estimations, everything, when I need to enter into the testing, when I need to exit the testing. So these all things would be there as part of this particular test plan. So that is how the outcome of this particular phase, you'll be getting the test plan document. Okay, so now the next phase, which we are going to go at for the test case development. Now, test case development, what do you meant by, first of all, we need to understand test case. Then you can understand the test case development. Actually, this is a phase where the new life cycle will get started for this one. The new phase, which it is called TCLC. Now you've seen it, right? So from the SDLC, from the software development lifecycle, we got STLC. From the STLC, we will be getting it the TCLC, so which is test case lifecycle. Now, first of all, let's understand what is test case. And then we'll be talking about this one. So what is the test case? Anyone wanted to try? What do you mean by a test case?
Test case, sir, can I try? This is Naveen, sir. So test case is nothing but like when we giving, I'm taking one example, giving username and password. We have to check whether it is correct or not. This is one test case.
You're giving me an example of a test case. What is it? Means if I'm asking a question.
Scenario might end user face. We have to.
Okay, good try. Anyone else?
It is the
Functionality, functionality like how to works and
In test case, we mentioned step by step process to execute the test case, execute the scenario.
Of
Describing,
course. Yeah, you're almost near.
we will write the step by step, describing about that feature function.
and
That is,
will specify the
their
inputs and
activities are
execution
not
process.
Hold on. One by one. One by one.
Checking
Yeah,
the
go on.
functionality of the application.
See, everything
The
is
test for
okay.
written and reviewed.
set of actions which we have to perform.
Okay. So
And
now
what must be the expected result also we specify.
Cool.
Inputs, execution process, and the output to be expected. Chris.
okay. Fine. So I think so everyone has been given the bits and pieces. But if you have been combined all these particular bits, now you can understand what is that particular test case. See, that's like a user journey, okay, or user performing a set of actions to derive an outcome. Simple, right? Don't by hand this definition, okay? This is my stupid definition of saying the test case. If you Google this one, you'll get a lot of definitions for this. But what is a test case? Understand the concept. I asked Asif, go and get the money from the ATM. Asif went to, this is the ATM, and in the ATM, he went and then withdraw the money and he came back. Okay, now I asked, hey Asif, can you document this? Okay, then he'll say that as a user. Okay, so now going these things just eliminated. So just from the withdrawal of an ATM, I asked him to draft in the documentation. So now what he do? User inserted a card. Okay, and then ATM authenticated the card, and user, instead of Asif name, I need to keep user, because tomorrow instead of Asif, someone will go and then get this one, right? So then will be, that is reason. So this should be in a generic format. We need to write it. Okay. So now what he said. So user inserted the card, ATM machine authenticated that particular card, and then user entered the PIN number, and user. Okay, first he'll be selecting the language, right? User would be selecting English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, whatever the language. User selected the language. User entered the PIN number. User entered the user entered the cash in multiples of 100 and press the enter button, and without slip, and then user got collected the cash from the ATM machine, and then user close that, take the card and come out from the ATM. Now what we have done? So these are the set of actions. So now this is one action, right? So now what? User entered into the ATM and keep the card, inserted the card into the ATM, and ATM machine authenticated the card, and he entered, selected the language. User selected the language. User entered the PIN number. User collect. So now you see how detailed it is. Tomorrow, I given this particular card for anyone else. I have been given this one for Hemnath. Hemnath, go and then do this. Hemnath will say that, sir, I don't know about this. Chris, I don't know about this. Then what he will be trying to do? Then I'll be saying that I'll give this particular document to him, follow these particular instructions and perform this. Then he will read one by one, and then he performs the same. So now he will be having that particular list of document within him, and he'll check that, oh, okay, I will be inserting the card, ATM authenticated. What is the outcome? So now as soon as I inserted the card, what it happened? Now, as soon as I entered this one, so now here, this is the actions need to be performed, and this is the expected output need to be performed. So now we'll be giving the input actions and the expected actions also. So now as soon as I given this particular card, what would be the expected outcome? It says that, so then it will say that, hey, welcome to Chris. Then I'll be saying that, so now welcome to Chris is what my expected outcome for the authentication of that ATM card. Then I selected the language. As soon as I selected the language, then it showed me that particular things in this particular language. If I selected Hindi, it should be shown me in Hindi. Then now I need to enter the PIN. As soon as I entered the PIN, it allowed me to go for the next step to enter the cache. As soon as I entered the digits multiples of the cache, then it will allow me to generate that particular money from that particular mission. And then I have been collected the cash, and then successfully I came back. So now this is what the expected output. So these are the inputs. Team, go on mute. So now these are the these are the inputs which we have given, and these are the expected things which need to be happen. Now tomorrow I have been given this one for Shravani. So now Shravani will go and perform the same thing. So now we have been given, so now this test case has been generated, or this steps has been generated by Asif, and expected values and everything also generated by Asif, but it was tested by Hemnath. Now the same thing, Shravani wanted to stress this one, and she has been taken this particular thing, and what it happened exactly. So these are the things like a actual. So now this is what the expected things to be happen, and these are the things it will be actually happen. So then she will be entering. Okay, when I inserted it, I inserted the card. It authenticated. So yes, this step is true. This step is passed. Now next step. Hey, this step is passed. This step is passed. This step is passed. But when I entered into this particular cache, now it says that ATM have no money. This step has been failed. So now she'll say that, hey, these all steps pass. This step is failed. So that particular step has been failed, and then it went. So now what you need to understand is, so this is a standardized document. Whoever tested, whatever it tested, all the functionalities, because now Asif went away. Now once again, see, now I trained Asif. Now Asif went away, then Hemnath came. I trained Hemnath, and Hemnath went away. Then I trained Shravani, Shravani went away. I shouldn't spend my time like this for every time, right? Now, like this, if I have 1,000 scenarios, imagine that 1,000 scenarios, can I explain to the particular person every time like this? Not possible. So that's the reason we document each and every step or a set of actions to perform something. Okay, a set of action to perform a desired output, then that is called a test case. So these are the things which should be there. What the advantages of the test cases means, it would be like a document which the standardized procedure to follow by all the testing team across. If there are 10 people, if one people has been written this particular document, according to this particular document, everyone need to follow this one. So that is how this particular test cases will be generated. So these are the manual steps. Now here you see it, everything is manual steps we have written, right? So these steps, converting this particular manual steps into the automation, this is what we do it as part of our automation. So these are all manual steps which we have been done. So now instead of these all things, what I do is I create a robo, humanoid robo. Now with this, instead of doing with the Asif and all the people, I'll give the instructions, this particular instruction to a robo, so that this robo will go get that money and then bring it back to me. So this is called automation. You just imagine, previously we used to wash our clothes with our hands, and then we will be drying that particular clothes. But now it is automated. Now what had happened? We got washing machines, semiconductor, top load, front load. Just you would be loading that particular cloths here. You give with what water you wanted to wash it, and then give the powder. It washes. and it will give to you not only the washed clothes, it also dried, and then it will give it to you. So now this process, complete process is automated. Similarly, the manual steps, whatever we have created this one. So these particular manual steps has been converted into the automation, or this particular, all automations will be converted by the help of tools, which is like Selenium or Playwright, Puppet, or WDAV. So this is how the manual steps will be converting into the automation. This is what you're going to learn now. See, when we go for a detailed level of TCLC explanation in the discussion, so there I'll be explaining about this, and that is how we'll be converting into the automation. This is what the journey which we need to learn. But first of all, you should know what is cloths, why we should use, means why we should wash the cloths. Then you should know how to use the washing machine. Then you need to operate with the automation, right? Washing machine, right? So these are the things which we are going to learn now. So when we go for the TCLC, I'll talk very detail about the TCLCs and then implementations and the bug life cycles and all other stuff. Okay, so here, as of now, just we introduced what is this particular test case. So you remember, right? When we are talking about the SDLC, we introduced what is testing. The same way now, when we're talking about STLC, I'm just trying to introduce the STLC. But there is certain time when we wanted to integrate this TCLC, I'll integrate it because it will divert now if I'm talking about this. Okay, so this is how we write that particular test case. This is called test case development. Now we created this particular test cases. So now we have done the requirement analysis. We created the tester plan. Now who does this particular thing? Whose responsibility here? So here is what all we will be joining for it. So means test engineers or QA engineers, quality analyst, not assurance, quality analyst, QC, quality controllers, or software test engineers. So these all people will be involved here to develop these particular test cases. So now here, these are test case development. Now, after this particular test case development, this would be executed in this particular environment. What is this particular environment? What do you mean by environment?
The actual place where it has to be.
The favorable
Like,
conditions for the test
Is it a
happen.
platform?
to test the software like in different platforms.
You are saying that platforms are different and environments are different, right? Platform.
Like yeah,
Production environment.
in customer point of view and development point of view and testing point of view, and to release the software, to test the software is like
Okay.
testing environment setup.
It's a
Yes.
hardware and software combined
now-
together for the test to happen.
Anyways, we have different type of environments where we'll be talking about the details. So very details about what are the different type of environments topic is there. Altogether, we'll discuss about that particular topic. But first of all, now you need to understand what is this environment. Okay.
What are the browsers that are going to test? Which browsers we are going to test?
Absolutely.
Means,
That's isolated browser will not call it as an environment. So altogether it is called as an environment. Now let me give an example so that you can understand this particular spectrum. Now this, for an example, this is Chris. Okay. Now when I'm in office, I'm in office environment, my behavior would be different. When I'm in my home, my behavior would be different. When I'm in my, or when I'm with my friends, my behavior would be different. So when I'm with my colleagues and office friends or any others, my behavior would be different. when I'm with my parents, my behavior and these things would be different. Because altogether, this is a different environment. This is a different environment. These are all the different environments. See, when I'm in an office, I should be professional. I should talk a professional language to communicate the things. But when I'm in home, because my family, my kids, everyone will be there, I should behave myself. But when I'm with my friends, so that would be completely different. The way I speak, the way I behave, the way I talk, everything will be different. The same way when I'm with the colleagues, office friends, that environment, I'll be completely changed. Now you need to understand one thing. These are different environments, but I'm the person only one. But I'm behaving differently in each environment. You understood the point, right? The same way, when we created certain test cases, now till here, now you understand different means we have been created the different test cases. That is what the phase we have done here. Now you created different test cases, right? These particular test cases will behave in different environments in a different way. So now environment, it is nothing but it is a combination of everything. So now usually we will be having different environments like production. Okay, first it starts with the development, then it will go for the QA, then it will have staging or pre-prod. So these are the different type of environments which in the software industry. You don't worry about, there is a separate topic, different environments, where we'll be talking about what you meant by development environments, QA environment, staging environment, and then production environment. See, now you need to understand that if you wanted to learn the manual testing, there are a lot of dots. Now, first of all, everything is connected with each. You seen it, right? SDLC connected with the SDLC, SDLC connected with the TCLC, TCLC connected with the BLC, BLC and TCLC connected with the ALC. And these all things are connected towards the environments. Now, as of now, connecting all the dots would be not possible for you. Now, what you can do is first to try to understand each and every dot separately. And then later on, we can connect all these particular dots. You need to learn in such a way that you need to try to understand that, learn it an independent component, and then you can try to connect all these things. Then you can make that understanding and a holistic picture. So now here, what it mean to is, now these are different environments. What do you mean by an environment? Now the names here itself, you are seeing it, dev environment means I'm developing an application. All the developers will develop this particular application here. So this will have different combinations of hardware. This will be having the different softwares. Hardware means system configuration. You have your laptop configuration, right? You'd be having a 16 GB RAM or 1 terabyte hard disk, and then we'll be having Windows 11, and then you'll be having with the gigahertz 3.5 gigahertz processor. So now these all things will be having the hardware, right? So this is how the hardware configuration will be there. And the softwares. Now you will be installing a lot of development softwares which it is required. So where you develop the complete applications. So those are the development environments. I can go and test it in the development environment. Yes, you can, but utterly it will fail. Why? Because this guy is making the repair. So, for an example, my mom is cooking. Can I go and eat? She'll say that, she'll slap me and say that just wait for 5 minutes. I'll prepare it and I'll give it to you. Because when she is preparing or when she is cooking itself, when I go and ask her, Mom, so please give it to me, I'll eat it, will it be possible? No. What it mean? So I need to wait after completion, then it will come to my plate, then I can start eating. So that is where it comes to the QA environment. In the QA environment, the complete software which we have been developed, this guy, he deploys that. Deploys means he moves from here to here. Means you will be having, for an example, you have certain photographs in your mobile phone. You will moving from one folder to another folder. The same thing. So from this environment, they will be deploying that particular code, the application code, into this particular environment. Now this is specified to test that particular application. So now this is where you'll be going and then testing that particular application. So which is the QA environment. All the developers will develop in this environment. They build the code, push the code into pushing is called, or copying the code is called deployment. Deploy that code into the QA environment. Now all the testers will come and then start testing in this particular environment. Now, once they tested this particular environment, they will move to the pre-production or staging. What is this meant by pre-production or staging? Very simple to understand this. Now, an example, probably you people may not know about it. So in if 90s kids, the paper, the probably they can correlate. We used to have the pre-final examinations. So before going to the actual examinations, we'll be having a pre-finals. And you'll be having assessments, assignments, unit test, and half yearly, annually, quarterly. So we have different kinds of examinations, right? So now, actually speaking, the main exams is in the March, but they will keep quarterly, half yearly, and then pre-finals, and then finals. Why these many examinations? I can directly go and write the annual exams, right? So these exams will help us to know where we are. It will help the teachers and the students to understand exactly where we are lagging, how we need to improve. So teachers will get that particular pointer, understanding that, hey, this particular student is having the problem here, so that I need to help him so that he can score good marks, or he can understand that particular things so that he can understand the things very well, and then he can pass his board or he can pass his final exams. So same way, the students also understands that, hey, if I mean, by writing this particular exam, I can understand that where I am and what are the things I need to improve myself. And at one shot, keeping all the syllabus at one shot, it would be a big challenge. So now first, if I learn a lesson, I'll prepare it, I'll complete it. Then I learn 2, 3 lessons, then I'll be having the quarterly. Then I learn 6, 7 lessons and I'll have half yearly. And then before going to the final, so I'll be learning all these 14 lessons. For example, I have 14 chapters in my math. So first quarterly, I'll be having 3 to 4, and half yearly, I'll be having 7. Now, when it comes to the annual, I'll be having 14, right? So before going to annual exam, first I'll make sure once again, I'll check all the things, whether I've been prepared very well or not. Means you're preparing means you're making your students to prepare well and then attempt the exam well. So this is the concept which we're doing it, right? The same concept also here. Because before you go into the production, you need to test again in the different environments, because the pre-prod environment and production environment, they have the similarity, exactly the same in terms of system configurations. See now, the QA environment configuration would be low. So means, for an example, 16 GB RAM. So this is how this would be. But whereas in the production, it will have 32 GB RAM. So the system configuration would be more, and system softwares will be more. So now when you wanted to test this one, you don't know because of that impact. See now, for an example, you have a fever. So now for the fever, you take an acrosin. You might be having a reaction for that. You might be having the impact for this, side effects for this. So you shouldn't know after taking the tablet. So before taking the tablet itself, you have to be precautionary. Which tablet would fit for me? Which tablets will not fit for me? No, no, no. Once after getting the reaction, then only I'll understand. Then you go for production, have the bug, and then you will lose your credibility. So that is the reason you have to be cautious. So for that cautionary test, we do it in the production with the same environmentals. If you see here, the test case is same. As I told you, Chris is same in different places, but the way I behave differently. The same way the test cases are same. The way it behaves in the different environments will be different. See, the same test case behaves in Chrome in a different way. Same test case behaves in Firefox in a different way. Same test case behaves in Edge in a different ways. So these are the things which we will be testing it. So now you should have the 360 degrees of view when you are testing an application. That is what the specialization of a testing. See, our intention is to make sure that to identify the application, to destroy the application. Because if you know how to destroy that, so these are the ways it can be destroyed. So these are the ways it can be fixed. So now when you wanted to catch a thief, you need to think as a thief, right? When you wanted to catch a hacker, you need to think as a hacker, which is ethical hacking. So now when you wanted to break down the system, when you wanted to destroy the system, then you will think in all those particular directions. Then only you can test it thoroughly and then give that particular application to the market. I'm telling you, right, when you tested that application, no one should be able to identify a bug. So that is how you need to test that application. So then you need to think in all the possible directions, all the possible ways, in the different environments, how it behaves. So that is what you'll be having the different environments. So here we will be having that particular environmental creation. So this is what the environmental creation. So this will be taken care by our architects or the manager or infrastructure team. They will be creating this particular environment setup for us, means which is for the QA environment. Now they've given you the environment. Now what is the outcome of this particular phase? You'll be getting it. Now in the test case development, what is the outcome? You'll be getting it. Test case documents. In the environment, what we're going to get it? You'd be getting it. You'd be getting it. The infrastructure, which is the QA environment. You'd be getting that one, right? So now you're getting the QA environment. So this is ready for testing, which is QA infra or QA environment. You'll be getting it. Now you got your test cases, you got your plan, you got your test cases, you got your infra. Next, what? Doing the test execution. Now here you'll be having all, once again, the test engineers, QA engineers or QC engineers or software test engineers. You prepared all your test cases, right? Where you will be executing it, executing. So when I joined first time, hey, what is this called executing or running? I didn't understand. What do you mean by executing or what do you mean by running? It is nothing but in this particular document, you'll be having it, right? Open browser, enter URL, enter username, enter password, click the login button, make sure that whether you reach the home page. So these are the steps, right? If you're performing that particular steps, then that is called execution. Means opening the browser. Hey, I performed this one. This is called execution, test executions or test runs. So now these test cases are executed here. Now, whatever the test case documents which we have been prepared. Sorry. So these are the test cases which we have been created here. So those all test cases would be executed here. Now, what is the outcome you'll be getting for this one? What is the outcome you're going to get? I created 1,000 test cases here. Out of 1,000, how many test cases are passed? How many test cases are failed? How many bugs are identified? So these are the execution reports. You'll be getting it. Execution phase will be performed with these all roles and responsibility, these guys, and they perform the execution. And this is the outcome which you'll be getting it, like a execution reports. So in this execution reports, overall, how many test cases are there? How many test cases are passed? How many test cases are failed? Because of the failure, how many bugs has been registered? Don't worry. So here is where another new life cycle which it will be formed, which is called bug life cycle, BLC. In this phase, it will be formed with the TCLC. So here is what the bug life cycle would be created. And based on this particular test closure, so we will be creating ALC, automation lifecycle. So now you can see it, right? So combination of this particular TCLC, BLC, ALC, these all things called as SDLC. And SDLC is part of SDLC. So this is how it will be connected. Let me complete this particular independent module. Later on, I'll complete this TCLC, BCLC, ALC, and then I'll connect this particular dot so that you can understand. So now in this particular test execution phase, this would be performed by these particular different rules. And then this is what the end product or outcome from we'll be getting out of this one. And lastly, we will be saying that, hey, this particular testing has been completed. Now, overall, these many test cases are there. We tested these particular test cases, and all these particular bugs are fixed in this one. And these are the execution reports, interim execution reports. Means you'll be having it, right? Assessments, assignments, unit test, half yearly, quarterly, pre-final, like that. We'll give, hey, I have been tested intermediately, we have been tested report, overall tested report, bug testing reports, and these are the final report that, hey, by this one, everything is completed. And then you can go for the next environment, not into the production. You'll be giving it 2 minutes. It will be going into the next environment. So that's how it can be pushed into the things. So this is the way the complete means the test closure. Who will be doing it? The entire team, means the QA manager, test manager, architect, or the test engineers or QA engineer. So QA engineer or the quality controller or tester, everyone will be included as part of this particular closure. And the outcome would be the test signing of document. Test sign of document. We should be knowing that how to create these feasibility reports, how we need to create the test plan document, how should we create the test case document, how should we create this particular creating of infrastructure, then that is not our responsibility. But how should we create the execution reports, how to create the sign off document. So these all things we have a topic called documents creations in test documents creations. We'll be discussing in detail about each and every document, and then we will be closing this one. From this particular close, we'll have a lot of things. We will be having the concept of RTM, or we will be deriving the test coverage, automation coverage. Lot of metrics can be derived from this particular execution phase. So those things I just kept it as an execution report. Because now if I start to talk about the RTM, or if I start to talk about the test coverage and automation coverage, it will leads you a lot of confusions. So this is how the SDLC of any particular software can be defined, and then it can be used back. So these are the different phases in the SDLC, and these are the different roles and responsibilities, and these are the different outcomes of this particular SDLC. I'll give a pause here. Now, any questions on this particular SDLC? Now you can ask us.
Like you said that test environment given by developers or other people. Can we suggest like if they missed any environment like
Absolutely right. You can definitely suggest that. See, for an example, now a particular dish has been served for you. When a dish is served, you can say that, hey, salt is less here. And definitely they can come and add that salt. Or this is too much spicy. If you given that particular information, they will make something ingredients to make it to reduce that. Obviously, you have always the right to say this and ask for this. Because if they don't provide you the proper environment, how you will test that?
yeah, that's my point, sir. Actually, yeah, if they missed, end of the day we will be taking the blame. That's
Absolutely. So definitely they should give the appropriate environment. And if they missed something, definitely we need to ask them to give that. So who are raising the hands? They're having the questions.
Hi, Chris.
No,
What are
sir.
the terms called test sign in and test sign off?
See, there is no terminologies like sign in and then sign off. But what we need to understand is uh, the nowadays we are using some posh language. Signing off means we are going to end this, right? So signing in, I didn't heard about it in the testing. So there will be terms called entry criteria, exit criteria. So those are the most important thing. Means when I should enter into the testing, when I should exit the testing. So now previously we have a question, right? the test environment should be properly there. Then that is what the entry criteria. Exit criteria, submitting all the bugs, fixing all the bugs, and then submitting all these particular criteria, means whatever the reports. So those are the exit criteria. When we talk about the test plan, we'll talk in detail about these things. What is an entry criteria? What is an exit criteria? So we have these particular pointers. So there we'll discuss in detail about it, but there is no test sign in. So there is no that one. But signing off the closure documents or the closing phase, the people will be calling it as a test sign off or test closure. These terms can be used.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Swati. Okay, fine. Then no other questions?
No.
Fine. So tomorrow we're going to start a very important topic, which it is testing methodologies. Okay. And once after testing methodologies, then we'll go for the levels. So just to treat this as an independent component, which we have been discussed now. Don't worry, we will tag back to this TCLC, BCLC and all. But as of now, as I told you, first learn this one as an independent components. Then we will be tagging back these particular components with each other so that you can clearly understand how this will work. But until that particular point of time, you should learn all the things as an individual modules. Now here, tomorrow's session would be really important. Prepare well, go through these particular videos, and then come back for these particular sessions. Topics are testing methodologies, levels of testing. These are the two topics which we'll be having it. Okay, fine.
Okay,
Then
sir.
thank you. Have a great day. See you all tomorrow. Prepare and then come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.